So the gift is in my voice. Double-edged sword for me because I feel like my trauma response is to be quiet when things get a little hectic, right? So with trying to be as aligned as possible with what I feel like I'm being asked to do, um, and managing real life situations that are happening in front of me, where most 99.9% of the time I'm the lead on whatever the thing is, right? Whether that be in my personal life or at work. And then balancing the ability not to shut down, right? Because again, that is my natural response. Something I'm trying to heal within my inner child, as people would say, is to not get quiet when things get crazy, right? I feel like sometimes that's what the devil wants. He wants you to shut down. But what I realized about myself is that when I get quiet, I'm still creating. I'm just not speaking, right? So I saw that as a positive because now I'm like, all right, now I'm speaking to God. I'm singing. I'm listening to my music. This is me paying attention to these cycles that I go through, right? And really saying, well, what are you doing as these things are happening? How are you managing it, right? How do you keep going? What exactly is happening? Are you shutting down, right? Are you losing it? Is everything falling apart? Or are you in prayer? Are you in meditation? Are you studying? How are you reacting and responding to what's showing up to you, in front of you in real time? So now realizing that I've been quiet probably for a while, right? It doesn't feel like a while to me because I know what I've been doing. Like I said, I never stop creating. I just don't say out loud or don't actively show people what I'm doing. And I think all creatives have that moment in their process where they're not talking. They're in straight like boot camp for whatever the next phase is for them. And respectfully, we know it doesn't matter what people perceive of that moment for us, right? And that's kind of why we shut the world off in certain ways. And I feel like more people need to learn to do that because it's helpful as long as it's not like depression, right? We don't want to confuse or mix the two up. And if it is, we address it as such, but paying attention to yourself is very important. That self-awareness, right? So now, with being quiet, of course, I'm in a new phase. This is transition. I'm acknowledging that and I'm working with it to understand what I'm supposed to create now, right? What am I supposed to do with this new phase? What is my assignment? And how can I plan it out with all of the information and lessons learned from previous, engagements of life and experience? What am I supposed to do now? And not even be impressed about it in a way where it's so much pressure. Oh my God, my purpose. Because I am my purpose right now. In present day, I'm doing everything I'm supposed to be doing. So it's not about chasing that. More of being, how can I say this and make it make sense? I feel like there's a level of silence that you understand at some point is necessary to understand your assignment. And not because you're meek, you're weak, you're missing out on what's happening in the world, even if you see it, knowing how to respond to it, right? And sometimes the response should be silence and not yelling, rage, or even a conversation. Doesn't matter. Some things you need to process and actually go through it in real time and not on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok, and really digest what's happening, because that's the way as humans we're supposed to process information and emotion. That's my perspective. I didn't read that in the book. I don't know. But I feel like I operate better that way, right? Versus having information constantly thrown at me or even being distracted by other things that are happening. And it may not be relevant to what I need to be focused on at the time. So respecting those pauses. I always talk about taking a pause, and people think I'm crazy because everybody's like this hustler, go get it mentality, and I get it, but if your mind has not caught up to that part of your journey and you are constantly pushing yourself, you're going to crash and burn. And I've done it more than once, right? So now I'm not doing that again. So I'm pacing myself. And as I pace myself, there's a level of attention that's being present to the now, because it's not about before. It's not about so much what's going to happen other than me manifesting what I want to happen, and being able to shift as things are happening and pivot as things are happening to still chase my goal, right? And not just drop everything because something else is going on. That's a big deal because most people give up. They don't see how they can keep going. So like I said, as these cycles go on in my life, I'm paying attention to myself. And that's never selfish, right? Because like I said, over time you learn to balance how to tap into the matrix, right? And then back into your reality and what your focus needs to be, where your studies are, whatever that is for you, right? Your family, your health, all of those things have to come into play, whether it be by you paying attention or by force, because God will force you to pay attention to things that are necessary to be looked at, whether you like it or not. So now being intentional with that and saying, okay, I'm going to take what's happening in real time and try to create something with it. Because a lot of times when I've tried projects and things that I just wanted to do, I saw the future of it. Oh, I can see it as this thing, going forward. I just need to start now. And now it's like, no, how about you focus on now and start? I don't even know if that really makes sense, but that's how I'm looking at my position right now, where I'm at and what I'm doing. And I think it feels good. It's less pressure. It's less watching the time in the sense of like, oh my God, I have this much time, or I haven't done this and this long and whatever. That doesn't matter anymore, because like taking away the pressure of time, because time, I'm not gonna get into the scientific stuff, but it's not how we perceive it to be sometimes when we put that pressure on ourselves to create things. So removing that factor and just rolling with the punches, man. Everything is happening the way it's supposed to, and I'm not out of alignment, never, not ever, right? So if I could chill and just allow that to be, so many other things will fall into place. And then having those conversations with God, right? What do I need to be focused on right now? More meditation, more ways to improve my health, allowing myself to fail, acknowledging when I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. It's so many things that has to be done in this process as life is happening. But if this is where your focus is and you really want to heal, you really want to get over these old things that plague you, then you'll be dedicated to that. You'll be consistent with that. I see so many people online like, oh, you got to be consistent. You got to be consistent. And I'm like, yeah, consistent to what though? Like, what are you serving when you're being consistent? I don't want to manage being consistent with Instagram and my whole life is inconsistent, right? No, I want my life to be consistent in real time in the real world. And then I can focus on how to manage the other stuff. I've done that already. I've done it for a living. People have paid me to do that, right? To be so focused and knowing how to work that algorithm. I don't want to do that anymore, right? That's not even my focus in life. I want the long-term goal to be laid right now in the foundation of me understanding I can be patient with my process and still bust my ass to get it day by day, right? And flow with what's happening in my life in real time. And that's how you manage it. And that's how I'm not saying how I've been keep going. That doesn't make sense. How I keep going, whatever, right? That's my point. I'm rolling with grace, man. I'm rolling with grace. And being intentional about my focus, accountable. I'm like trying to make sure I checked off everything in my head that I do, like, and still not being perfect at the same time. Because I feel like there's a lot of pressure when people think you always got it all together and you really don't. It's a lot of pressure because now it's like, yo, I don't want to pretend for people. I don't want to put on a mask and be like, yo, it's all good. Nah, it's not. And when it is, I also want to be able to celebrate in private and not have to tell everybody I'm celebrating. It's like the beauty of both ends of it. And that's just what it is right now in real time, in real life. This has been my remedy and how I keep going. So I hope that helps.